Hey guys, welcome back. Aurabomb here. We're bringing you something a little bit different. We're doing a live discussion video about all these cards. It's actually not that different because we've done this on Twitch before. We're on Twitch right now, by the way. But what I'm doing this time is I'm actually, recording the proper audio, proper video recorder and everything like that. So we're gonna have a cool. We're gonna have an actual discussion. Gonna be trying to put the viewers in the chat into this as well. Whatever they comment, I'll be reading out loud if it's anything relevant. We'll be doing some back and forth discussion about some of these cards. So for the YouTube cats, be sure to like the video if you have not already. It's always really appreciated. Your support means the world to me. And we're gonna just start talking about these cards. We have these Ultra Beasts. They're getting kind of wild. Before we get into the Ultra Beasts, before we get into SM6 stuff, we're gonna talk about some other stuff that was announced beforehand. All right. So we got this Gengastly card here. Big old chubby boy. This man actually looks pregnant. He's so fat. Why is he? It makes me so mad. 60 HP, so it's whatever. Weak to Psychic, just whatever. So it's just your standard basic. Memory skip, which is kind of weird, right? Because you expect this off like a basic that evolves, but it's a legend, so I don't know if I like that. But regardless, memory skip, 30 damage. Choose one of your opponent's next Pokemon's attack. During your opponent's next turn, the defending Pokemon can't use that attack. So once again, it's one of those cards that force you to play Retreat, Guzma, Escape Rope, which people don't really play, but it could come back because of Glaceon, who knows. There's another one of those cards. It could be really, really annoying to your opponent. Other than that, though, there's not really much to talk about here. It's one retreat cost, one energy attack, so it's your very stereotypical starting Pokemon, like disrupt while you set up in the back kind of card. There's not really much else to talk about with this card, really. It's cool disruption, I guess. It forces your opponent to burn Guzmas, it forces them to switch, things like that. So I don't know what deck would play this. I don't think any deck would play this because it's not good enough. It's not good enough as a stall card. Usually you use other Pokemon to set up or attack with in most decks, so that's pretty much another card. We have Azelf here. We don't have Mesprit announced yet. I'm sure we'll get that like the second I upload this video. But we don't have Mesprit, but we do have Azelf here. Azelf, another one of those 60 HP basics, one retreat, psychic weak Pokemon with a colorless attack, which is a little bit better because you don't have to run psychic energies. Psychic abduction, you can only use this attack if you go second and only on your first turn. Shuffle one of your opponent's bench Pokemon, all cards attached to them, into their deck. It's really strong, but it's so situational. It's one of those things where, like, if you have a bunch of free retreat Pokemon, or you play Max Elixirs or something like that, I guess if you were to go second, you could bridge it, bring this out, retreat into it, attack with Psychic Abduction, kind of ruin your opponent. But they also need a bench and things like that. It's an awkward card, but the attack is really strong. Like, that's a really powerful attack. You can set your opponent back a turn if you shuffle in the right card. But once again, it's one of those cards where I don't feel like it's Donk Boys. You can't donk with it, unfortunately, because you're not attacking the active, so the active will still be back in the deck. It's only worked on bench Pokemon, so you can't donk with it. But once again, it's just one of those cards where I don't feel like it's strong enough to really to be relevant. Although I like the artwork a lot. And Azelf's so cool. I like Azelf the most, I think. Although Mesprit does look the most woke out of all of them. Speaking of woke, we got Wake full art. I think we already talked about Wake, but I'm really, really excited about Wake. Discard 2 energies from your hand and then search your deck for up to 2 cards and put them into your hand. That's kind of wild. And you guys know I'm a huge fan of water decks. I'm going to be trying to play Glaceon a lot. Which is, I just really like water decks. What can I say? So I'm pretty hyped about Wake. But moving on, we have this Buzzwole card. I was talking about it the other day, how excited I was to see more of these basic non-GX EX Ultra Beasts. Non-GX, I should say, not EX. Ultra Beasts. And we have Buzzwole. Buzzwole is arguably one of the better Ultra Beasts that we have right now. Whew. And 130 HP, weak to Psychic, 2 retreat. It's whatever, standard. Just like the other Buzzwole GXs so far, their retreat costs and weaknesses, but obviously a lot less XP. Fighting type Pokemon. For single fighting energy, we have Sledgehammer. 30 damage. If your opponent has 4 prize cards remaining, this attack does 90 more damage. 120 for 1 energy, no matter how situational it is super good. Especially on a non-GX Pokemon. So people might play this card just because it's such a good non-GX Pokemon. You can OHKO things like Hoopa and Ninetales. But once again, it's very dependent on your prizes, so I don't think it's gonna be worth playing. But it's a really cool attack. Swing around, 80 damage, flip 2 coins, attack does 20 more damage for each heads. That one's not really worth it. Like, I guess you can do 120 with 2 heads, and you can obviously increase that with strong energies and choice band. But overall, this card's cool, but I don't think it's gonna be played. At least not, like, it's not, we have better non-GX attackers if you needed specific decks for it. Wait, is there a non-GX Pheromosa? Not yet. Not yet. But we have cards like Zygarde, like Baby Zygarde and things like that that can work around Ninetales. And I don't really think it's worth playing this Buzzwole because it's too situational. As strong as it is still too situational. So we're gonna move on. And we do have a new set. Looks like this set's gonna be all about 6th gen. The Forbidden Light. It's gonna be the same name as Japan's SM6 set, which is pretty cool. That's a first, I think. We've already seen Lucario GX. We have a Greninja GX, Zygarde GX, any Yveltal GX that we haven't seen yet. We're gonna look at Ultra Necrozma and Arceus Prism Star too, and it says Volcanion here, just straight Volcanion. I think that just means we're getting a Volcanion Prism Star. I'm hoping that's the case, because that'd be kind of cool. Looks like we're giving all these Legends Prism Star cards, which is good. I'm glad that they're making it only Legend Pokemon, because it makes it feel way more special, I guess. There's over 130 new cards. It's gonna be another hype set, especially since we're getting cards like Ultra Necrozma, Naganadel. I'm assuming Greninja is gonna be really strong. Dude, if Greninja's like super good and worth playing in current Greninja decks, that's gonna be kind of crazy. We'll see though. It's Kalos theme, we already talked about that. There's nothing really to talk about here. We're gonna start talking about some of the cards that are in that set though. This will be the last card we talk about before we get deep into the Ultra Beast conversation that I really want to have. This picture is just so good. We do have an Arceus Prism Star here. Now this card is really cool. But before we get into that, what's up MTO? Buzzwole GX is better than its new baby version. By the way, what's up Timmy? You're right. But we got Arceus Prism Star. Obviously, you can only play one Arceus Prism Star per deck, but its attack's pretty strong. Its ability is first commandment, prevent all effects of your opponent's attacks, excluding damage on this Pokemon, which means you're probably not going to be status conditioned or anything like that. Nothing's going to stop you from attacking. No paralysis, no confusion. So that's pretty handy. Which means you can pretty much guarantee get this attack off. You are a 1 retreat Pokemon with a 1 energy attack cost. You're fighting weak, but you do have 160 HP, just like all these other, I think every other Prism Star Pokemon has 160 HP. That's good to know. The artwork is kind of lame though, I'm not gonna lie. But the attack is really cool. Trinity Star, it does 30 damage, and you can only use this attack if you have a Grass, Water, and Lightning Pokemon on your bench. Search your deck for up to 3 basic energy cards and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like, and shuffle your deck. So, that's a pretty strong energy accelerator. 3 basic energy, that's a lot of energy. It's a good way to set up your board. Now you need a Grass, Water, and Lightning Pokemon. If I can think of a couple really useful Water Pokemon off the top of my head, Feeny, Baby Vulpix, Alolan Vulpix, Octillery. Those are good ones. Lightning, you have Tapu Koko, and that's really it, honestly. Tapu Koko is a free retreat Pokemon. You can spread it. You can just do some pretty decent spread damage with a DCE. So like Tapu Koko can be splashed into any deck just because it's already that useful. Then you have Grass. Grass is where it gets tough, right? Like, I don't know. What are some good Grass types? Like Decidueye comes to mind because I've been playing a lot of Decidueye, but like you're probably not playing Trinity Star in a Decidueye deck because why would you need to do that? Decidueye doesn't need that much to attack. And it just seems unnecessary, really. Unless you're like setting up another Pokemon to attack in Decidueye, which is pretty weird. Because then you have to play like, you're not playing Octillery. I guess you could play like Vulpix, set up your Pokemon, Tapu Koko for spread damage on top of Decidueye. The question is like, who are you setting up to attack? That's why it's like whatever. What other Grass decks are there? There's like Lurantis based decks, which don't really need it. Actually, Lurantis decks wouldn't mind it. Energy acceleration from the deck, that would be pretty cool. Maybe like a Lurantis Octillery deck comes out that plays Tapu Koko for spread damage and like Trinity Star to accelerate the board with like Genesect and stuff like that. That could be pretty interesting. But like honestly, this card is just one of those cards you keep because you'll eventually good cards will come out that do support this. Maybe I'm being dumb and can't think of any good Grass types right now. Maybe Expanded you can use like Jolteon and Toad. That's true. There's so many possibilities in Expanded. There's just too many to think about it. You know what I mean? Shiny Gengastly is a good grass type, maybe. Yeah, Shiny Gengastly would be a good example. But Shiny Gengastly isn't like a tech card. It's your attacker, right? So in a deck, I keep moving away from the mic. I need to undo that since I'm recording. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just trying to think of cards that you can throw into a deck for like to increase consistency or like a decent tech, something like that. And I can't think of, like, if we had good tech grass type attackers, Greninja wouldn't be a scary threat, you know what I mean? So like, until we get one, which we might get one, who knows? It's pretty interesting, right? I can see this being played immediately in Venusaur Genesect deck that's out right now, because you already play Octillery, you just throw in like a Tapu Koko in there, and boom, you have a deck that is you have Arceus Prime to set up early game, super strong, and it's a one prize attacker as well, which means even if it does get knocked out, who cares most of the time? Like, you're not really ruining your strategy at all. And you can spread the energy around because Genesect has that ability reload, so it's not even a big deal. Thank God it's not fire though. If it was grass, water, fire, that'd be crazy because you have Volcanion, which fulfills 2 of those requirements. But you can play this in Rainbow Road, right? I think so. Because you can play like what, grass and lightning. That is the Galvantula from Steam Siege. Sorry, I just thought I heard some background noise. Galvantula from Steam Siege. Water could be like really anything, I guess. Whatever you want to put in Rainbow Road, because you're going to be playing something to fulfill that requirement for Rainbow Road. So it could be Volcanion, since you are probably playing Volcanion in Rainbow Road. So it's pretty cool. I think overall, the card is very, very strong, and I'm actually really excited about it, because then you could play Rainbow, you could attach like 3 basic energy cards, like you can put 2 on one Xerneas, 1 on another Xerneas. That way you have one that can attack with a DC attachment and another one that can attach with a basic attachment. So that's pretty strong in its own right. So I think Arceus is pretty cool. A good grass tech would be nice. Yeah, we need one. Hopefully we'll get one in the next set. We'll see. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about all these new Ultra Beasts. Now, first thing I do want to mention is Poipole and Naganadel. We've already talked about them, but I just want to give you guys an example. I want to revisit them before we start talking about these other cards, because Naganadel just seems like it's going to be a stronger deck than ever before. 210 HP, evolves from this. Psychic Jet Tackle doesn't really matter, but Beast Ride is cool. 20 damage for each Ultra Beast you have in play for a single colorless energy. So you have a consistent attacker with free retreat. Oh, wait a minute, it's a 1 retreat cost. I just couldn't see the thing. Okay, with 1 retreat, it's not too bad, which is good for like max potion spamming and stuff like that. Stinger GX is like an extremely powerful GX attack as well. Each player takes 3 cards from the top of their deck and put them face down as their prize cards. So each player will be down to 3 prizes. That's a really cool early game GX attack. Actually, it's really good in a lot of situations, whether to save yourself from losing the game by giving yourself a couple more prize cards, or to really just early game end your opponent later, put them in an awkward position kind of deck. So it's pretty cool. But let's talk about some of these cards that really help this deck out. Now, we have this crazy new card, Ultra Space. Once during your turn, the player may search their deck for an Ultra Beast, reveal it, and put it into their hand. Poipole and Naganadel are Ultra Beast cards. We have cards like this is really cool. I guess it's not really necessary, but it's cool if you're like a more heavily focused Ultra Beast deck that focuses on the likes of Buzzwole, because then you could just play this and grab other Ultra Beasts on top of Buzzwole. Obviously, if you're playing just like a straight Buzzwole deck, you have Brook the Hill, which is better. Arguably, because like Brook the Hill can help your opponent, but this will only help your opponent if they're playing an Ultra Beast deck as well. So, I mean, there's that as well. Also, Palkia is a water type now, makes Palkia stronger. I don't really want to talk about that right now though, because I still don't think Palkia is good. Its attack is decent, but like, if we take like a quick discussion with Palkia, Hydro Pressure, 60 damage and 20 more damage each water energy attached to this Pokemon. To hit like 180, what do you need? You need like, how many do you need? Like, you need like 5 energies and then a choice band to hit 190. That's a lot. That's a lot of energies. That's a lot of energies you don't want to attach to Palkia. Now, arguably, you can be like, no, I want 5 energies because there's 0 Vanish. But that's still a lot of energies. You're asked to be punished. I'm gonna do that. So I'm not the biggest fan of Palkia in general. The thing what really turned me off about Palkia is that it's still Grass Week. I was looking for a non-Grass Week water type attacker that you can throw into the likes of Lapras GX, so Lapras GX to be played, because so that Glispot isn't as big of a threat, but it's still weak to grass, which is super annoying. Naganadel can work with Shining Celebi to use Poipol's attack, which is good. That's true, but usually you're going to be using Beast Ride. But that's actually, I never really thought about that. You can use Corpse Revival if your Pokemon is knocked out during your opponent's next turn. The opponent does not take prize cards. English. That's pretty cool. And it's definitely worth noting because that's actually very relevant. Thank you, Timmy. I never even thought about that. But yeah, Corpse Reviver, if you're in a position to where all you want to do is stall, Corpse Reviver is a decent attack, especially since you're not, especially if you think you're not going to be doing too much with a Beast Ride attack. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know how relevant that is because you're not going to be, unless you're, if you're playing it specifically for Naganadel, I don't know how relevant that is, but it's something worth mentioning. Now, we have Ultra Beast here, right? We got some more cards to talk about. Ultra Recon Squad, because of Ultra Space, becomes a lot more relevant. If you guys don't know, it's discard 1 Ultra Beast and draw 3, and you can do that twice for each time you play S4. So you can draw 6 a turn, just straight up draw 6 if you discard 2 Ultra Beast cards from your hand. If we ever get, once again, some ways to put Ultra Beast back into our hand from the discard pile, this could be very, very strong. But right now, it's already pretty decent just because we have Ultra Space. That's a free draw 3 at the very least, up to draw 6. I wouldn't say this is like a 4 of an Ultra Beast decks, but it's something to look into if you need some more draw. It really depends, depending on how much you want to play Cynthia and Sycamore and stuff like that. But it's something to definitely get your hands on, because if we don't get any more prints of a discard your hand, draw 6 or an N reprint, then after Worlds, we're going to be really short on draw supporters. So this might be something to look into. What's up, Omega? Nice to see you, big dog. Thank you for dropping by. But yeah, I know it discards 2. I'm just saying you can do this up to twice, because you don't have to discard. It says discard up to 2. So if 1 is draw 3, for 2 is draw 6. But you can only do that. You can only do up to 2. Drig Cell Sword. Yeah, exactly. So it's pretty strong. I think it's going to be something worth getting because it does help consistency in decks, especially post Worlds. So it's something I would probably get my hands on if you plan on playing Pokemon post Worlds, or not playing Standard, I guess. I don't know. But let's talk about this first before we talk about the big boy. Beast Ring is the other big boy. This card is absolutely wild. You can only play this card when your opponent has 3 or 4 prize cards remaining, which is not bad. Cards like these make me really want to play Zoroark in like Ultra Beast focused decks, because like it's useful up to the point to where you can no longer use its effect. But combine this with Naganadel and it's really strong. I guess we should talk about the effect first, huh? Search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, reveal them and attach them to one of your Ultra Beast Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. How wild is that? We have a card, an item card, that you can play 4 of per turn, by the way, that can attach basic energy cards from your deck. 2 of them. It's not even 1, but 2. Obviously, your opponent has to have 3 or 4 prize cards remaining. But if you think about how easy that is, you have Naganadel, which can literally put your opponent down to 3 prize cards, so that you are good to use this card next turn. You have the fact that we're in an EXGX format, so if your opponent knocks out 1 EXGX, then they're down to 4 prize cards, and then boom, this card is live. Like, what is this? It's actually kind of wild how good this card is. There's no reason not to play this in a Buzzwole deck. There's no reason not to play this in any kind of Ultra Beast deck, because putting your opponent down to 3 or 4 prizes, whatever. But yeah, making your opponent have only 3 or 4 prizes left is so simple. They can just knock out a Lele. You can force them to knock out Lele, and they have to take prizes if they want to win the game. The only card this is dead against is like stall players. And if you have Naganadel, then it's not dead against stall players. You know what I mean? It's so strong. You could play Palkia in a deck with Huntail. At least I want to try it. Nice. So Cynthia is still a good draw supporter. This is true, but Cynthia would be our only draw supporter. post Worlds, you know what I mean? Assuming that we do lose all of X and Y, I keep saying you know what I mean, I shouldn't say that as much. Assuming we lose all of XY, it's going to be our only draw supporter left. Stupid card, 3 or 4 SMH, pretty much. It's straight busted. I am recording this, yes. I'm actually recording live audio and everything. So we going in with this video. So yeah, hello. What's up, Zaire Sinclair? I'm pretty sure I said hi already. They're gonna make item lock a must for survival. I mean, we have item lock right now in Luxray, Luxio line, I guess technically. But this card's very strong. Against item lock, people might start playing Ranger, and I don't see a reason not to. If item lock becomes a problem, decks like this have to play Lele, Ranger into all these cards. Because you would just, if it were me, I'd stockpile these cards in my hand and then play them all at once. That's 8 energies. You could technically put 8 energy. You could, so like, if this be like completely real, right? Or not completely real, but like the max amount of energy attachments you can have per turn, right? If you're not counting DCEs, like just straight attachments, you can play 4 max elixirs, 4 beast rings, and have a manual attach it forward for a turn. So you could attach 4 energies off the max elixir, 8 energy off of the beast ring, and then your manual attachment. That's 13 energies. You have the possibility of attaching 13 energies on one turn without the need of abilities. That's insanity to me. So I'm actually really hyped about this card. And then you have access to Puzzle of Time to reuse cards like that. So I guess like technically you could get 4 more beast rings, and that's another 8. That's like 21 energies in one turn. That's insanity to me. And it's actually pretty relevant because we have a big boy coming up in this next tab. But let me check the tab. Let me check the chat before we get into it. Shaman GX, let's go. Shut up, it's Friday, I'm recording. They gotta make a new draw support before rotation if all of XY is leaving. They got to, but who knows, man. With all this energy acceleration that they're giving us, they might be trying to cut out draw supporters and make it all this. But anyways, boom. Big boy Necrozma. Look at this. First of all, the artwork on this card is absolutely beautiful. I actually really love the artwork in this. But we got NECROZMA here, our first GX Pokemon that only has 2 attacks, not an ability. That's pretty interesting. But its attack is a little bit wild. Now you're weak to Fairy, which we'll see how relevant it is. It doesn't seem very relevant. 2 retreat cost is okay, I suppose. It's not the worst, but it's not the best either. And it's a Dragon type too, so that's pretty good. We don't have a lot of super strong Dragon types, so having a strong Dragon type like this is pretty decent. But being weak to Fairy, if Metal does take over the format and it becomes too risky to play cards like Gardevoir, then this is definitely something to look into. We'll just have to see with time though. But Ultra NECROZMA GX is still pretty strong. Its first attack is absolutely insane. 20 damage plus. Discard all psychic energy attached from this Pokemon. This attack does 80 more damage for each energy card discarded in this way. If you were to discard 2 psychic energies, you are doing 180 damage before Choice Band. And that's where Beast Ring comes into play. You literally just attach so many energies. You're basic, so you have max elixir attachments, right? It's a psychic energy, so you have the likes of, let's just say Lunala, that can move energies around. You have Metagross GX that can attach energies from the metal and psychic energies from the discard pile. Wow. This card is a little bit wild. You have max elixirs, it's an Ultra Beast, so you have Beast Ring. You can get the Ultra Beast with the likes of Ultra Space. It's a psychic type energy attacker, so you can pair it with Naganadel to put your opponent down to 3 prizes using Stinger GX. It's 190 HP. It's like Pokemon wants to bring back the era of big basics. I don't get it. It's so strong. 20 damage plus 80 more damage for each psychic energy you discard, which you have to discard all your psychic energies. I'm glad it's all your psychic energies and not all your energies in general, because that means you get to keep the metal one. Also, it's pretty interesting because you can play that that one energy card, blend energy, because I think there's one with psychic and metal, so it is something to look into. Maybe grab yourself a couple of those secret rares because it's pretty decent. It's pretty decent right now. That's a big boy. This is a big boy. Can we just change the name of the game to Ultra Beast CGO? You're right. Darker X is gonna get insane with the beast item cards. Oh, that's interesting, huh? I never thought about that, but that does make Darkrai better. Dude, that makes Guzzlord better. My head just exploded right now. You can actually use Beast Ring to attach energies to Guzzlord. That's wild. You could actually you could feasibly set up a Guzzlord to take 4 prizes. Now, obviously, you're not gonna be able to use Naganadal's GX attack because you're using Guzzlord's GX attack, but it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty interesting. Yeah, this is definitely getting teched into Metagross. This with regular Necrozma, because it's, oh, we haven't talked about his GX attack yet. Destructive Light GX. This attack can only be used if there are 6 or less total prize cards remaining in play. Play 6 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon. That's pretty good. It's too situational though. It's one of those things where like, you could play that with Espeon and put 6 damage counters on everything and devolve them all and usually get knockouts and everything. Although the other Necrozma, regular Necrozma, it's not an Ultra Beast card, but it does do 100 damage to all EX GX Pokemon, which by the time you evolve is probably already EX GX Pokemon. But it's something worth looking into. I don't think it's that good though. I think you're going to use other GX attacks in an attack. At least right now it's not good. It could be good in the future. Guzzlord new meta. I'm already thinking of so many things. Vanilla GX, Mewtwo EX, Shatter Shot expanded, Cough's Blood. Being played 30 energy Guzzlord lately. It's fun when it works. For sure. I bet it is. But yeah, this card is crazy. I'm pretty excited about it. Because of the nature of this card, you don't actually have to play it with Metagross either. Although Metagross is probably your most consistent option. I wouldn't call it the best option, but definitely your most consistent option. But because you just only have to attach 2 Psychic Energies to it, if you were to play Blend Energies, that's just 2 attachments and you'll be hitting 180. But you can Max Elixir into this card, which is really, really strong. And you could have like a main attacker while you set this thing up in the back as well. Speak to Fairy. And the only Fairy type attacker in the game is Guardy. But if you're playing Metagross Necrozma, then you don't really care because you're attacking with Metagross in that case. Metagross is definitely something to look into if you guys are interested. We have this card. And we had another card recently. Oh yeah, of course. Duskmane Necrozma. We have some good stuff from Metagross now. So something to definitely look into, especially once we get that that card, the Frying Pan card to remove weaknesses. That becomes that removes a big weakness to Metagross in general. Man, it's crazy. I'm actually like it's one of these cards. I don't know. I'm really excited about this. This is super dope. It's a lot more interesting than Duskmane Necrozma is because Duskmane Necrozma is just straight up like easy to set up. You have a lot of cards for it. Like you have a lot of options, and it's pretty cool. But this one is like it's a little bit more difficult to set up, but it's a lot more rewarding when you do set it up. And I'm really excited about it. Not to mention, I just like having Pokemon that use Psychic Energies to attack that aren't Garbodor. This is one of those cards you could pair with decks like Lunala, with Max Elixir spam, attachment spam. That's pretty cool. I like Lunala GX a lot, so that's just something I do. But regardless, that's all the cards I want to talk about today. Get you on Metagross while they're still cheap. Exactly. Get your Metagross while they're still cheap, because Metagross might become a big deck. Because you got it all. You got a really strong evolution. You've got a really strong evolution attacker, a steel type attacker, a really good ability, a good GX attack, and an algorithm GX that can help set up your board. With some really good basic attackers now, both Necrozma, Dawnwings, and Ultra Necrozma. You can easy enough to throw in basics for techs. Just being metal is overall really good because our only fire type attackers are our Volcanion variants, and Necrozma's just really good against that because it's hard enough to knock them out, then you get easy Okos in return. So overall, pretty hyped about Ultra Necrozma. This next set looks pretty dope. And yeah, that's really all I want to talk about. All the YouTube peeps, first of all, I do want to say, before I forget, shout outs to PokeBeach for the awesome website and being great. I do want to give them a shout out like I usually do. I guess I forgot this episode, my bad. But YouTube peeps, don't forget to like the video if you have not already. Let me know what other content you want to see me on the channel. Be sure to follow me on Twitch, ab.aurabomb. Twitch.tv/ab.aurabomb. Be sure to follow me on Twitch. We were doing a lot more live action now that we are affiliated, which I'm pretty hyped about. It's another way for me to provide more content for you guys. Let me know what decks you want to see me play. I'm trying to record more of these pre-built decks, and hopefully I can get some live recorded pre-releases this weekend. I am planning on going to some pre-releases. Hopefully nothing changes, like I don't get called into work in the last minute, because that'd be really annoying, because I'd have to go, because your boy is about that money right now. But yeah, thank you guys all so much for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next time. People on Twitch, I'm still here, but I'll see you YouTube cats later. Peace. Wow. Peace.